So this one's gonna be again about Tim Ferriss' Tools of Titan. Actually amazing that I've said it fucking correctly. And with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And as always, I'm just pretty fucking pumped to be here. I do just have a look where we have stopped. Yeah, I guess I know where we stopped. And I'm also thinking that this summary is going to go ahead pretty nicely. Like, I do think this is just one of these summaries that actually, first of all, really nice to go through, because I'm basically only quote-unquote reading quotes never mind. Because there's actually another word for quotes, as I know, but I do still not know how to pronounce it, and I don't know what the noun of it is, so I'm not gonna use it. Cites or something, like to cite someone or something, or never mind. Yeah, really never mind. I do really think that it is just really nice to go through for me, and I also hope that you are going to learn something off of it, and quite a lot. I really hope that you are getting a real load out of it. I've actually found where I've stopped yesterday. By the way, I hope that you are fucking doing well, and if you are on a podcast or if you are on a YouTube video, there is quite the opposite. Like, if you're on a YouTube video, there's also a podcast, so if you're willing to go through the summary while you're on the go, or while you're in a train or somewhere else, just go down in the description. There are all the links to my podcast, and it is also available on Spotify and TuneIn and quite every single platform there fucking is. And for all the podcast listeners, there's also a video version of this exact same episode. The only difference is that when I'm doing the podcast, I'm normally post-producing it a little bit or post-editing a little bit, so that the audio is just way louder and a little bit clearer, so yeah, that the whole experience of actually listening to the podcast is quite nice. Like, if it is too fucking silent, it's not gonna be that nice. If you're just in the train or something, you can't hear anything. But this is all the difference there is actually. But yeah, I do think I'm just going ahead with the summary, and I'm gonna start reading. So don't be afraid to punch above your weight class. Go to all the meetings you can, even if you're not invited to them, and figure out how to be helpful. While at Google, Chris Secker invited himself to meetings and offered to take notes. It just really sounds so, not stupid, but so, what did they say? Brazen. It really sounds brazen. If this is actually the adjective, I don't know. I really don't. But I do think it is just nice, like taking action. And this is actually something that Dale Carnegie as well is kind of being a little bit philosophical about. And also this is one of his, I at least think, most used quotes. So at least it's on the very first page when you type in Dale Carnegie quotes, then it is on the really first page in this little Google box, which are incredibly nice, by the way. I really like that Google is implementing those small little elements so that you can find certain official things way faster, and you can be sure that they are somehow accurate, somehow good, because Google decided to kind of use these things or include these things. But Dale Carnegie, sorry, I've always been saying it wrong for just such a lot of time. He said that we should all take way more action. Like, a lot of people are waiting until someone is coming up to them or someone is coming to them. And it shouldn't actually be the case. As Carnegie also says, you should just take action. You should go out and ask people to buy your product, or to get your product, or to try your product, and not wait for anybody to come to you and ask, like, can I just have your product, or can I buy your product? We should all take action. And I guess it is actually a really great saying, because I do also think that way more people, me included maybe, should just be more active. Tim Ferriss did something similar when launching the 4-hour workweek by going to CES and parking himself at a blogger hangout lounge. He asked a lot of dumb questions and never pitched. He just put himself there to learn more. Yeah, actually a pretty nice idea. As long as you know where all the events are, why wouldn't you go to them? Unless they're just really fucking expensive or something, I do guess then it's maybe not that nice or not that smart or something. But yeah, Ryan Holiday suggests, and this is actually the author that I was talking about in last day's episode of Tools of Titans. And if you're interested, check out the other episode. I do think it was somehow great, even though I was not that good mooded as I'm right now, I guess, because I've been doing just such a lot of things today, and it feels just incredible. Even though I have only been sleeping for 6 hours or something, I've been able to do so many things because I just went to bed relatively late, to be honest, and I got up pretty early, which just gives me a lot of time, which is something that I deeply like, because if I do have just a really small amount of time, and if I'm then wasting some of this time, I'm just really feeling bad about myself. I'm really feeling bad then about the fact that I'm wasting my time, even though if I'm having more time and I'm just somehow wasting the same amount of time, it's not that problematic. It's not that bad, because in general, or just I do have more time to somehow use. And if I then use just 1 hour or half an hour or something for something that is just really a waste of time, still it's gonna fuck me, if I'm just, very late in the day or something. But it's not that bad as if I would have only just a really, really, really small amount of time. But let's actually see what Ryan Holiday says. So Ryan Holiday suggests the canvas strategy. Early on, your role is to pave the way for other people, to let them do their best work. Yes, to find canvases for them to paint on. Don't worry about being taken advantage of. Find the grunt work nobody wants to do and constantly strive to be helpful to people. Give your ideas away. The person who clears the path controls the direction. If your ego gets in the way because you think you're high and mighty, then realize that this lower position is simply a temporary situation, and you should get the most out of it. Bill Belichick or something mastered the art of analyzing film at grunt job, and he started as a volunteer. I think this is actually quite often the case that a lot of successful people that are now successful actually started in a very, very low position, but they've just worked. They just really worked. I've once been watching an Impact Theory by Tom Billio interview with, I unfortunately do not remember the name of this person, but he also started doing just not that nice jobs, and he was just really, really fucking kind of strict and really fucking strict about this job. He wasn't like, it is a shitty job, I'm not gonna do it, I'm just gonna be kind of just 50% on it. He fucking did 120%. Like, he really just, he really put his ass going. Like, he just really worked. He really fucking worked. And he has been nice, and he has been just, taking care of the other people there. So I think also what Ryan, or is it actually, no, it's Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday says about actually giving away a lot of things, for me, makes sense. And I often see, and this is actually also something that Gary Vee is very pushing hard to, so that you should actually give away a lot of things for free, because this just creates a lot of opportunities for you. And this is one of the problems that I'm seeing with all the people that are trying to sell you some courses, or somehow are not trying to sell you some courses because they say, no, I'm not going to sell you some courses. But in the end, there is a product, in the end, there is definitely a product, I guess, This is just, maybe I'm just very pessimistic about these things, because you just really encounter these things often. Like, people are just having an ad on YouTube or something, and you're seeing it, and they are like, I'm gonna have a live fucking event, it's pre-recorded, and it's just live for a certain time, and they just pull it off this way, which is, at my point of view, just, I don't know, like, maybe there is some marketing thinking behind it, maybe there is some curiosity kinda making behind it. But I don't know. I kind of think it is stupid to actually record something or to pre-record something and then say like, okay, it's fucking live, because it is clearly not. And and yeah, and they say, I don't sell you anything. I just want to show you something and whatsoever. But I kind of assume that in the end, there's always something to buy. There is something to buy. I'm not saying that you have to buy something, but I guess there is something. And I don't know. I really don't know whether this is actually a good strategy or not. I assume it somehow is, because so many people are actually doing it, that there has to be something about it. There really has to be something about it being just effective, at least, really effective. But I don't know if this is actually the right thing. And I also don't know whether all these courses and just, letting people pay for what is the best strategy. I do assume, because Gary Vee himself said that he's a person that is not actually kind of gaining wealth enormously quickly. He's gaining it steadily and slowly, but surely as well. And I do think his tactics do not really just implement growth hacking, like just really being fast with making money and building something whatsoever. It is more like the long-term process, and it is more like doing the right thing for a long time and then just getting to your point and getting to your goal and whatsoever. And I particularly like this because I'm really into doing the right thing, because in the end, when I'm dying, I don't want to think about all these fucking courses that might even be bad that I've sold to some people. I quite do not want to, think about this. It would just be kind of ashamed of myself somehow. And I'm just really willing to do the right things. And I still think, it might be working, selling some courses and so on, and it might be some positive or some positive thinking behind it. Like, okay, if somebody buys something, they are more kind of strict about it, or they take it more seriously or something. It might be true, and I do think it is true. When someone is actually kind of investing or is buying something, I do think they are somehow a little bit more serious about it than if they get it for free. This is a problem, but you can't just give away all your knowledge for free, and if people don't kind of act on it, what should you do about it? Rather than just talking about it, trying to implement it into your content and whatsoever. But I don't know. It's pretty difficult, I think, and it really comes up to in which position you are, what person you are, how you think, and whatsoever. Adam Robinson suggests approaching each interaction as a challenge to delight the other person, including investment meetings or job interviews. This puts the focus off of yourself, which is, I think, very important. Not always talking about yourself, not always thinking about yourself. I guess it's very important. The 10% challenge. Go to the counter and ask for 10% off your coffee. You have to learn to ask for things and put yourself out there. From Noah Kagan. And this is actually something that I've been reading about in another book as well, and I've also recorded it and uploaded it and whatsoever. The thing is, I never ever kind of remember which book it was, because I'm going through so many articles and so many books that I really don't know which book it actually was. And I don't know. The thing is, I do also forget a lot of titles of music that I've liked, and also the authors, or the artists. I think I would rather go with artists. I don't know why. I do just remember the music if I've heard it just, before or something, but I do not really remember the author or the artist or the title. It is something that I do remember it when it's just some really recent music that I'm listening to, and I'm not listening to a lot of music. I'm really not. I rather listen to podcasts and whatsoever. When I'm working or making some designs at home, then I'm quite always listening to music, I guess. Just before I was doing some post-stamp designs, and I was listening to some music. to kind of every kind of music, I'd say. But I do think it is actually a great tactic to just really also develop the skill of asking for something. But I was thinking about whether this is actually working or not. If somebody would actually give you 10% off of something, whether it is your coffee or something else, I do really believe that it is just really coming up to which product it is. Like a coffee, I do think, well, I don't know, if you go to Starbucks, would they actually give you 10% off your coffee? I don't actually think so. Even though I guess it's a franchise, they still just have to, in the end, maybe pay for it. Like the price that you have just got off, they just have to pay for it in the end somehow. But, if it is an independent somehow coffee shop or something, I do somehow feel it could actually be working. And it would then be nice. Like you're practicing something and you get 10% off of your coffee. Even though it's like, the problem there is, coffee is fucking expensive. I'm not drinking coffee because I believe it's not good for me. And I'm not feeling good when I'm actually drinking it. Or after I've drinking it. But... well, like if you pay $5 for a coffee, then it would be 50 cents or something. It's still something. Like in the whole macro, it's totally gonna be worth it. Like, let's assume that you're drinking coffee every single day, or maybe even 2 coffees every single day, and you're already saving $1, a day, which is just amazing, which really is amazing, and which is really worth it, at my point of view. So when I had the opportunity, did I choose courage over comfort? From Breen or Brené Brown. Pretty nice one. Pretty fucking nice one. Jamie Foxx, born Eric Bishop, started his career at an improv venue. They would have 100 guys and 5 girls in a line to perform, and they would always pick the girls to get variety. Jamie made a unisex name to get picked. I love the story for its cleverness and Jamie knew what he wanted and he made it happen. Actually, pretty nice one, but it's fucking sad that they actually choose girls over guys, and or people who have a neutral name over people that do not have a fucking neutral name. I do guess it's somehow a fault in a fault in the system. Action and not information. I do guess this is actually the part where they talk about why knowledge is actually only potential power. Something that Tony Robbins, not Tim Robbins. Why Tim Robbins? Tony Robbins was also talking about. He said that knowledge and or information is really only potential power, which in my point of view is definitely right, because if you know everything, whether it's about mathematics or physics or actual business things or something, if you don't act it or act on it, it's kind of worthless. It's kind of worth nothing because you're not using your knowledge and you're not doing something with it. For sure you're storing it in your brain and you're storing it somewhere, but you're not using it. So it's worthless. It really somehow is. This is somehow thinking of people that are, I guess are somehow against reading books and whatsoever, because it is only potential knowledge. Even though I think, it's completely something different, just reading a book and then also acting on it. I've been reading a lot of books, but I don't think that I've acted on all of them. Maybe I've stored all this information subconsciously and I'm using them subconsciously. Could actually be the case, but I don't know. I really don't. Anyways, let's go ahead. So, action and not information. Are you obsessed with learning new tactics but have a problem following through? Realize that success doesn't come from knowledge, it comes from action. Especially when reading non-fiction books like The Tools of Titan's Summary. Don't absorb their platitudes, think hard about what actionables you want to apply to your life. And I do believe that it is actually a great tactic to to also think about how you can actually implement all these things from the book while you're reading the book. And I also think, at least this is something that I subconsciously do, that really could help you memorize all the things, because yeah, it could really help you. Like, you're thinking about how you can implement it, you're thinking about like what it has to do with you, and I do assume that it is actually somehow, yeah, just making some connections in your brain between yourself and the information you're getting out of the book. So I don't know, maybe there is some scientific kind of thinking behind it. I don't know anything, so yeah. If information was the answer, then we would all be billionaires with perfect apps. From Derek Sivers. Actually, pretty true. Even though it's pretty tough to say, but it's actually pretty true. A lot of people are just obsessed about getting knowledge, getting information. I as well, or me as well, actually. I often just look up things, or I often try to find things, and in the end, I come to the conclusion that, yeah, that my search was somehow very unnecessary, or something. Yeah, I don't know. Mastery doesn't come from infographic. What you know doesn't mean shit. What do you do consistently? So mastery doesn't come from an infographic. What you know doesn't mean shit. What you do does mean shit, and what you do consistently. So what do you do consistently? ? From Tony Robbins. Actually pretty true. If you're just reading about, or kind of listening about, if you're listening to audiobooks about fitness and health and all these great things, but you're not acting on it, you're not working out, you're not eating healthy, you're still gonna die with 70, because you're gonna have some organ problems with heart problems. Like, I really hope you do not have any heart problems or something, or any problems with any fucking organs. But what I know is that nutrition is just really a very big part of being healthy and feeling good. Something that I've actually been experiencing is that since I've just really been consciously taking action on actually eating healthy. I'm not eating any sweets. I haven't been eating any sweets for, I think, 2 years now or something. Or at least 1 year. This is for sure, but 2 years, I guess. And I'm doing great. Like, I'm not even missing it. It is just, I don't know. I do guess that, well, somehow we are approaching nutrition somehow, pretty worse, or pretty badly. Like, oh my god, no, I'm not having to sneeze. I don't know. Like, the problem there is, it is just really fucking normal that everybody's eating sweets, everybody's eating chocolate, everybody's eating all these things that are not particularly nutritious, first of all, and not healthy. And it's the same exact thing with sports. We are somehow used to not doing anything. Just, okay, we are working. We can't work out because we just really have, such, we don't have too much time to do this. We don't have any time to do this. And in the end, they're watching Netflix. And in the end, they're eating chips while watching Netflix. And it is really about what you're doing, and not what you say you do, and also not what you read about doing, or the knowledge you're consuming. It, in the end, is really about acting and really just doing these things that you're thinking about, you're talking about, and that you're also reading about, and or listening about, or watching about. Very important, I guess. And what I wanted to say initially was that I somehow feel like, it is so normal, and it is abnormal to not eat sweets, and to not drink alcohol, because this is also something that I'm not doing, and to not, smoking is something different. Smoking totally is something different. A lot of people are not smoking, but drinking is something people do, because they think like, okay, it's something, yeah, like on the weekends, 1 beer is totally fine or something. Well, I don't think so. Somehow, like, For sure, it's completely a difference between, okay, I'm drinking a beer every single day and I'm drinking 75 beers one day or something. Like if you're drinking one beer and then Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, it is better than actually drinking 4 beers or 3 beers on Wednesday. Like, because, I don't know, maybe the body has more time to absorb all these negative fucking shit. Still, I don't know, like, still, I think it's gotten so normal. It's gotten so normal that everybody's eating sweets. Nobody's just really giving a fuck about their nutrition, and really nobody's giving a fuck about eating healthy. At least not on such a level that, this is my opinion, and I'm truly being strict about it. I'm also trying to not eat any added sugar, even though, it's happening to me as well, because I sometimes do have to eat things that I somehow do not want to eat, and it also really comes up to actually being disciplined about it. Like, for sure, it's gonna be maybe a little bit harder to cook yourself something nutritious and something healthy when you're coming from work and when you're tired, and when you actually do want to go to bed but you haven't eaten something and there is a chocolate bar and or I don't know, nothing else, and you would just have to cook something or something. Like, yeah, it really is tough for a lot of people. But what I know and what I've experienced is that if you're used to it, and if you're used to it, to not eat sweets, to also implement into your life so that other people are also knowing it, and that you also don't eat certain other things. Well, it is, the problem often is, also for me, like when I'm eating out or something, or when I'm just with other people, I do not want to go to eat something, I also do not want to eat at their house, because I don't know if I'm able to eat it, and or if I'm willing to eat it, if I want to eat it, if it is good for me, because often it is the case that it's not, and this is the problem. Like, I'm just having an abnormal kind of relationship to food, at least in my society. Like, it is completely normal to eat fucking schnitzel, and it's fucking normal to drink a beer while you're kind of eating out or something. But I guess it's fucking dumb. Like, why would you just really fuck the only two things that you're having in the really end, which is first of all your body and second of all your fucking mind. And with drinking beer and eating a schnitzel, you're somehow doing both. You're fucking your head and or your fucking body. Immensely. Like, maybe I'm pushing a little bit too hard on this, it could actually be the case, but I do actually just, I want to spread the message that, at my point of view at least, eating healthy and having a healthy lifestyle is something very important, and also doing sports. It is also totally normal, what I've already said, that we don't do sports, at least not as regularly as we should. I might just have to step up my game when I'm just out of school as well, and I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I should go on reading for the last 2 minutes. Don't feel you need to have that perfect unicorn idea before you start acting. Most likely you're holding yourself back. Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work. Things will grow out of the activity itself, and that you will through work bump into other possibilities and kick open other doors that you would never have dreamed of if you were just sitting around looking for a great art idea. Actually, pretty fucking true. Like, I always just say that we should just act, and then in the process we are encountering some problems, and in the process we're seeing, okay, what's wrong, what we need, what we don't need, what's actually necessary, and all these things. And I do think we should all just start doing, and then just see where it's going to lead us and where it's going to get us. But this is actually the end of the episode. Thank you very much for also reading and or listening and or watching. But I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success, and I do hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, because you totally have it in your hands how you are going to be remembered. whether as a good person or as a bad person, you actually decide. And I do hopefully, I really hope that you're going to decide yourself, or to pick being a good person.